Right, action. Good morning, welcome back, day 25 Hayabusa build, and today I want to blank off those holes in the cylinder head left by the pair valve system. Now I took these 4 pipes off with their little flanges on the top and the pipes that follow, and I have to blank off the holes they came from. Now I looked on the net, I said in the last video I'm going to look to see how much they cost. If they're expensive I'll make a set, if they're not I'll just buy a set. Well, they are. They're jolly expensive. £30 for a set for them. I think the cheapest I found was about £29.95 for a set of 4 blanking off plates. And I think that's probably the reason why I see quite a few options people are doing on the net, where this little 6mm hole, where the air injection puffs in from, they are often tapped and people just put a bolt straight in them. Yes, that's a great way to do it. It's a good dodge, if you like. If you can't afford the plates and you can't do anything else, it will block up the holes. And let's face it, you're never going to see any of that again, so blocking up the hole is all that's important. Also, if you snapped all the studs off, and you just can't take the risk of trying to get them out and damage the cylinder head, it's a great way to get past it. But I didn't snap any of them off. I got all of those studs off nice and clean. They are a bit rusty, I'm going to run a dye over them to clean them up a bit, but fundamentally I've got use of all 8 studs. Now I don't want to put a tap in there, thread it and put a bolt in. That's a little bit too far of a bodge for me because I don't need to do it, because I've got other means and I'm going to make some plates. I'm certainly going to pay £40 for them, for the billet ones with a logo on, or even £30 for the basic ones. Not going there, this is a budget build, I'm not going to start chucking that sort of money at a bike like this. But I have got these original pipes, and I have therefore got the original flanges there, which means I can cut those off, plug weld the holes and make those into blanking off plates. So that's the task today. Let's make some blanking off plates for these holes in the cylinder head and see if I can make a nice job of it, put 8 nuts on there and get past that little hurdle today. All getting closer to being able to put the exhaust on, start rebuilding this whole darn front end. So there we go. Welcome back, let's get stuck in. Right, okay, sadly, best laid plans and all that, I can't use these plates. How simple was that principle? Cut the plates off, plug weld the holes up, use them as covers. Freebie, excellent, exactly what I need. But it ain't going to work because look, if you look closely, you see around the middle hole on all 4, there's a ring of brass where the metal pipes have been brazed in. Now that means that what's in the middle there's a little bit of silver inside the ring of brass, and that's the remnants of the old pipe, which I've just cut off flush. And because of that, that means that the rusty remnants of the pipe has to be drilled out before I can plug weld. You can't plug weld into a rusty hole like that, it won't work. It'll fall out, fall in your engine, and you know the rest. So that would have to be drilled out. Now once I start drilling that, I'm drilling through the remnants of the pipe, and then I've revealed the brass, and you can't weld to brass. So to drill through the brass, get an even bigger drill bit and make an even bigger hole and eliminate the braze, then I've got a 12mm hole and you can't plug weld that big. So they can't be plug welded, simple. So instead of that, brilliant plan, damn, I'm going to get some fresh steel, use them as a pattern and cut some fresh ones from brand new metal. Should have done that in the first place. And of course if I'm not welding them, I can make them from aluminium so they won't rust. Right, there we go. That's it, one fresh M6 stainless nut, pushed up and down all the threads to clean them up. Some of this aero coil, which is really oily, and that helps to dissolve the rust and push it all out the way, so those nice healthy solid studs will take the new nuts on there with a nice washer and the new blanking plates. So first of all, let's put the gaskets in place with a little bit of sticky stuff. Right. Ooh. Right, just going over them all one more time, just feeling them, they're all nice and tight as you dare tighten up an M6 stud that's rusted for 20 years. All good? Happy? Now, dome nuts, because they'll protect the end of that stud and stop it from rusting further, and just to add a little bit more fun, I've put anti-seize inside every one of those dome nuts so they will not rust ever again. The other thing is the spring washers. The spring washers are there to hold those dome nuts in place because they're not lock nuts. I don't want them falling off in the future, and no amount of thread lock is going to work because you remove thread lock with heat, and being this is the exhaust area, there's no point in trying to use thread lock. So a little spring washer underneath them with a regular washer, nice little aluminium plate, 4mm thick, and a card gasket with lots of heat-proof silicone. I think that is a really nice install, a really nice way to do it, and way better than tapping out the hole and just banging a bolt in it. But if that's all you've got available to you, it would still work. Hey ho. This is a project, I want to do little fun things like that, just to tax myself and make a nice job of it, a nice install, and hopefully you'll agree that was really good. Now, the exhaust is here, finally, so in the next one, I'm going to wrap the exhaust, build it all up, offer it up into place, and see what I need to do. I may or may not use studs instead of bolts. These Allen bolts, a few of you have said use studs and nuts. There's a couple of things I can do. Studs are easy to buy, I can buy some stainless studs, bang them in there. And the nice thing with studs is, the nuts are often easier to get off of a stud than an Allen bolt, as you saw in all the fun and games I saw getting these out. So I might put studs in there, and then there's a couple of options open to me. Either I can put brass or copper nuts on there, which will not corrode in the future, or alternatively I can put dome nuts on there. And I've seen that loads of times. You put the dome nuts on, that's what your dad used to do on his old Norton or Triumph, and the dome nut, like these, protected the end of the thread so it didn't rust, and I've got M8 dome nuts in the drawer there. So there's lots of options for the exhaust. I've got the ring gaskets here, so join me for the next one. We'll stick the exhaust on and start to rebuild this pig. See if we can make it look like a bike. There we go, thanks for watching, take it easy, ride safe. I'll see you next time.